As states across the country announce dates and plans to reopen schools, the federal government has advised them to learn from other countries where opening of schools led to increased confirmed cases and fatalities. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman, Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Mr. Boss Mustafa, gave the warning in Abuja at the 62nd Joint National Briefing of the Task Force. The SGF said the task force would submit its 7th interim report and be guided by President Muhammadu Buhari's directive on the next phase. Mustafa said that the decision and approval will be transmitted at the national briefing on the 3rd of September. The SGF recalled that at the outbreak of the pandemic, it was predicted that the African continent, with its weak health infrastructure and propensity to high disease burden, would be the worst hit. He, however, said that a recent publication by the Weekly Science Review indicated that despite having 17% of the global population, Africa had accounted for just 5% of global confirmed COVID-19 cases and 3% of deaths. The SGF said the country was gradually shifting in areas of high infection burden, with Plateau State reporting the highest number of confirmed cases. He said the development in Plateau could be related to increased testing in the state. Mustafa also noted that the World Health Organization, WHO, has published a draft landscape of the COVID-19 candidate vaccines. According to him, as at August, a total of 173 vaccines are under evaluation.
It is in the above context that the Presidential Task Force appreciates the ongoing calls for reopening of the education sector, and indeed some subnationals are already making preparations for such. Whilst the PTF does not discourage making such preparations, we need to be guided by experiences from countries such as Germany, France, the United States, and the UK, where opening of schools in some cities led to an increase in confirmed cases and fatalities. The Presidential Task Force has observed that South Africa is no longer in the top 5 with the global cumulative cases. It has similarly observed that Ethiopia is also rising strongly. The Presidential Task Force will continue to monitor developments all over Africa, even as we prepare to open up the international airspace for flights. The Presidential Task Force has also observed that from the point the global numbers entered the 28 million, growth in cases has been on the average of 1 million cases every 4 to 5 days. This is a trend that deserves a lot of attention, and the PTF is doing that. For us in Nigeria, the last 3 weeks have shown a slowdown in the number of confirmed cases. Indeed, in the last 4 months of testing, the lowest daily figure of confirmed cases, 138, was reported on the 30th of August 2020. Furthermore, a recent study by a group of African countries in East Africa indicates that Africa has weathered the storm of the pandemic with a death ratio of 1 to 10,000 persons at a total of 23,000 so far. According to the study, far more Africans have been infected with the virus and are now resistant to it for reasons such as more exposure to variant of coronavirus and regular exposure to malaria and other infectious diseases, which prime the African immune system to fight new pathogens. The PTF is, however, studying the manifestation of the virus in Nigeria and in other countries and continents in order to understand the nature. This should ordinarily give us encouragement that we are winning the war against the COVID-19 pandemic. But unfortunately, the science, data, and experience from other parts of the world indicate that such data should be viewed with extreme caution, as it is prone to be very deceptive and could be misleading if we let down our guards and be influenced to deviate from our strategy of cautious optimism that has brought Nigeria this far.